6:30, I'm going to call the work session order of Johnson City Council. This is an open meeting, subject to the open meeting law of the state of Texas, 101 South Main, Johnson, Texas. This will be a Zoom meeting, so if anybody is going through it through Zoom, you have any questions on any agenda items or want to speak on a public forum, there's a flag you can raise online that will notify the city secretary, and then she will give us your question. We do have a quorum present. At this time, I'm going to ask everybody to stand for the pledge of allegiance. Led by Mike Kidd and the invitation to Pastor Isaac Heath to the Johnson Seventh-day Adventist.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Our Father in heaven, Lord, we would like to thank you this evening for the privilege that we have of living in a free country, Lord. Thank you for the privilege of conducting government, conducting decisions that we are able as citizens in this, even in this city of Joshua. We run the business of this city. Lord, I want to thank you for each citizen and council member alike who is here tonight. Thank you for the freedom to do this. Lord, I ask that you would join this meeting tonight with your Holy Spirit, that you would give wisdom to each council member and citizen as discussions are made and decisions are made and remarks. Father, we thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for the gift of your Son, Jesus Christ. In his name, we ask these things. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Be seated. All right, for our work session, the first item is review and discuss questions related to the budget report and financial statement for August 2021. Does anybody have any questions on the August financial statement? Next, is review and discuss the S&P global rating for the city of Joshua. Just pick up.
Mayor, I put this on just for information only. The city's been upgraded to an A+ rating, which is pretty significant for debt that we take on. It offers us significant discounts in interest rates and so forth. Also wanted to point out too that the maximum allowable ad valorem tax rate in Texas is $2.50 per $100 assessed value, and then $1.50 for debt service. And as you can see, the numbers are on page 2. We are significantly lower than that, which bodes well for us. But this is an information document mainly that kind of tells how they base that rate. It talks about our financial picture overall as compared to other governmental entities, and we're in very good shape. And it is not every day that a city the size of this one has that A+ rating, so that's pretty significant. It's taken a number of years to get to that spot, and I just want to make sure y'all each knew that we were there, and a lot of the decisions that are made as a result of that is what got us here. So maybe just wanted y'all to know that that's where we were.
Well, thank you. It's very commendable. A large part of that probably goes to the city staff too, so to pass along to everybody. I really think it's like the whole staff has a say of what we do for our expenses and everything. So tell them we really appreciate it.
Certainly will.
That was definitely good to them as well. Does anybody have anything else? Next item, does anybody have any questions regarding the regular session? Next is public forum. Do you have anybody in the audience or is anybody online that wanted to speak?
No, sir.
Public forum? Next item is proclamation proclaiming the week of September 20th, 2021 as Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law. And whereas September 17th, 2021 marks the 234th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorial anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Mayor Joe Holland, on behalf of the citizens of Joshua and the entire city council, hereby proclaim the week of September 17th to the 23rd, 2021 as Constitution Week in the city of Joshua, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberty. Ladies, would you like to take a picture or? All right. Oh, that's you. Everybody squeeze you in here.
Took about a dozen, so.
Thank you, ladies, for coming up. Appreciate that.
On behalf of the Daughters of the American Revolution, whose ancestors were the original patriots, we thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Mayor, could we do a quick introduction before we move on?
Sure.
Chief?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and Council, I'd like to introduce Scott Wieners as our new police captain. Scott comes to us.
Yeah, you guys got one for
That's
pleasure.
right, that's right. So, Scott, comes to us with about 35 years of experience. A lot of that in CID, which is where we were struggling a little bit, so he's gonna fill in that gap, to help us move forward, and of course, he's got some significant administrative experience. So I'd like to introduce Scott Wieners as our captain.
He's already met Merle.
You're very sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Kevin. All right.
aboard.
Next is a consent agenda to approve the minutes from the city council meeting held on August 19th, 2021, with one correction. We're going to mark Merle present. He wasn't here, but he was in Colorado doing it by Zoom, so he should have been marked as present. Also to consider approval of memorandum of understanding between the city of Joshua and Joshua Independent School District outlining the services provided by the Joshua Police Department and the Joshua ISD Police Department, and authorizing the city manager and chief of police to sign. Consider approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement with Johnson County for dispatching services to the Joshua Police Department, Joshua Fire Department, and to consider approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement with Johnson County for housing the city's Class C misdemeanor prisoners.
Mr. Mayor, can we
Yep.
separate these, please?
Sure. All right, consider approval of the minutes for the city council meeting held on August 19th.
Will we approve as amended?
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next, consider approval of memorandum of understanding from the city of Joshua and Joshua ISD School District outlining the services and responsibilities of the Joshua Police Department and JISD Police Department. Any comment?
Is there any significant difference between this year's and last, or this time, was it 3 years ago we had to do this?
There's no difference.
There's no difference at all, it's the exact same thing.
Chief, you aware of anything?
No, the only difference was the Joshua ISD board, the school board wanted to extend this to a 3-year MOU instead of a.
Okay. That's what I saw it was year before, so. Okay. Thank you. That's my only question. Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else have a question? All right, I'll entertain a motion. How much motion we accept is?
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion by Merle, second by Angela Nichols to approve the memorandum of understanding between the city of Joshua and Joshua Independent School District concerning the services of police departments of both. Any further questions? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next was consider approval of the interlocal agreement between Johnson County for the dispatching services, for Johnsonville Police Department, and Johnsonville Fire Department. Any questions?
One, are we about the same as we were last year cost-wise on this, or was there an increase this year?
There was no increase. And I think this one is pretty much the same too. They're pretty much mirrors of last year's.
And I want to commend the police department. We came in, we were the largest city of the Burleson and Cleveland, and we had the third call, so that was very good. We had, with Keene and Alvarado both had more calls than we did, so they ended up paying larger amounts than we had. Anybody else?
On this agreement though, the light is still here on the first page 7 between the county and Joshua Fire Department Marshal's office. Is this with the Marshal's office or is it with all of our?
They wanted to separate them, and actually I did too, because it's easier for us to track the expense. It's likely that the fire department will, they're dispatched through the ESD. It's not very likely that they will be dispatched. They just did it as a matter of housekeeping, just because T code required it.
Okay.
Same way with the housing of the prisoners in the next one. It's unlikely to happen, but it was required by T code.
Thank you, Mike.
Anybody else have any questions? Consider a motion.
Will we approve?
A motion by Scott Kimball, seconded by Merle Whiteside to approve the interlocal agreement for dispatch services with the county. With further discussion, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next, consider approval of an interlocal agreement with Johnson County for the housing of the city's Class C misdemeanor prisoners. Any questions? I believe this contract is the same as well. And actually, this one's for the police and fire marshal's office as well, isn't it, Mike?
Yes.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion by Mike Kidd, seconded by Scott Kimball to approve the interlocal agreement with Johnson County for the housing of the city's Class C misdemeanor prisoners. All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we'll open a public hearing at 6:42 on the proposed budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2022. Staff, any comment?
You want them now, or you want them when we talk about the budget?
If you want to just say in general,
In general, it is a for the proposed annual budget, $6.64 million. It is a balanced budget without the use of reserves. It does not increase the debt service. And it covers all of the expenses and new positions as items, and it also lowers the tax rate by almost 5 cents.
do we have anybody that's in favor or against? Alice?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience? Not, I'm going to close this public hearing at 6:43. Next, we're going to discuss, consider and take possible action on the ordinance approving the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2022. Does anybody have any questions on the budget? That's the only change from the last time is at our direction, he took the approximately $300,000 in total funds and moved that to street repairs, maintenance. Is that correct, Mike?
That is correct.
Anybody else have anything? I'll entertain a motion.
Hold on.
Oh,
You got this look in your eye over there.
Okay, $300,000 in COVID funds. What about the 1 point?
well, we've got them all. This is just to be the first one that we're moving over. We actually got some COVID funds
We have the,
previously, and this is just, this is where we're reallocating.
Okay.
the COVID money that we received, the second round, the 1 point, I think, just over $1 million. We have, but it's restricted, unlike the first. So what we did was we went back into this upcoming fiscal year budget, and the items that would qualify for the use of those funds, we funded them with that, backed the tax revenues out and reallocated that money into street improvements, which was just over $300,000.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve this budget.
I'll second.
A motion by Mike Kidd, second by Angela Nichols to approve the ordinance approving the annual budget for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022. This does require a roll call vote. Scott,
Yes.
Merle. Yes. I say yes.
I
Angela,
say yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next item is discuss and consider and take possible action on an ordinance adopting City of Joshua 2021 property tax rate. This is something we actually set the rate at the last meeting. This is where we will officially approve it at, what's the number, Mike?
It is 0 point. Let me get down here. 711493. I'm sorry.
Which is approximately 5 cents less than what it was last year. We did take the no new revenue rate, which is the rate that we're not raising any additional revenues over and above what we did last year. Anybody have any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve.
I'll second that. Got a motion by Scott Kimball, second by Earl Reitenstein to approve the ordinance adopting the City of Joshua's 2021 property tax rate. This is also a roll call vote. Scott?
Yes.
Earl? Yes. Joe? Yes. Angela? Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Good job, Mike, and again, tell all the staff. I think it's an excellent budget y'all put together and reducing the rate like we were able to do and not using any reserves for the first time in several years. Outstanding job. Thank
I'll
you.
pass along. Thank you.
Next, discuss, consider, and take possible action on an ordinance amending chapter 2 of Joshua Code of Ordinances regarding the keeping of animals within the city of Joshua. Mike, do you want to say anything on this one?
I was, I kind of volunteered to talk about this because I'm sitting on the board. As you've noticed in this, we took a look at it. We really went back and forth for quite a bit. I commend Alice and Amber both for coming up with some real good help during the meetings, because it's not just me and Susie and what's her name?
Carla.
Drew a blank. But you know, we stumbled along for a little while, not getting much help over there, not getting much of a budget and everything. Mike came forward, increased the budget, got some things done. We're shut down right now doing it's the floors right now, right? Doing some really big improvements that are needed to keep that building running. And this here covers the being able to house animals at ag kids' houses. And that was one of the big things that was new to this ordinance. That, you know, allows for some of the larger lots to be able to keep certain animals. And it's not, you know, bulls and stuff like that, but it does encompass a few kids that need the help. And the ag building is taxed. It is full. So I believe that this was a good ordinance we put together, and we put some things in there that follow state guidelines that are new. And we came up with a good plan for the city. So I hope y'all prove it. We did a lot of work on this.
What I understand, it's been what, 4 or 5 months that y'all been working on it. I really appreciate on the ordinance where y'all did the comparison. That makes it a whole lot easier versus what did we already have and what do we add new, and
Yes.
and the comments that were added to that when we were making changes, the added comments, that really made this a whole lot easier to go through. I commend the staff for what the work they did on that, and you pass along to Carla as well.
Yeah, they did a lot of legwork, calling back and forth to the ag teacher and doing a lot of checking on stuff between meetings. We had to cram in 3 meetings in the last couple of months to meet our meetings because COVID kind of slapped us back, but we got caught up and we came together with some good stuff. So I commend Carla and Amber and Alice for working real hard on this, so. I make a motion to approve this order.
All right, motion by Mike Kidd.
I have a question.
All right,
Reading through this, I did not see anything in here where it addressed chickens.
state law addresses that over trumps everything. Not mistaken, right, Terry?
The can't the city still, I mean, these rules, like we have, how they have to be
We
what,
did.
cared for and watched and so on. and so
Yes, we
forth,
did
right?
actually address chickens.
Okay.
It's in there. We set a footage that their house has to be away from property lines. We set it at
25 feet.
25 feet. So we did address that issue, because some cities had less, some had more. Some cities had no chickens allowed, and the state came in and said, well, you know, that's one of the items you gotta kind of let them do. So we set it as 25 feet to kind of protect other property rights owners, but, yeah, we did cover that.
I didn't see it here, so
Yeah, we talked about it quite extensively, actually, and nailed it down pretty well with what the state wanted, and we were actually better at some.
All right, got a motion, do I have a
Oh,
second?
that was-
I'll say.
Got a motion by Mike Kidd, seconded by Merle Rackstein to approve the ordinance amending chapter 2 of the Joshua Code of Ordinances regarding the keeping of animals in the city of Joshua. Anybody else have any other questions or concerns? If not, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thanks, Mike. Next, discuss, consider and take possible action on ordinance amending the code of ordinances regarding garage sales to make the permitting process more convenient for citizens to obtain. I know Alice worked on this quite a bit. This was to get it to where you can apply for your garage permit online. We give you a permit number then, and then you have to sign in your yard and just put that permit number on it. So this kept citizens from having to come up here. Sometimes their schedules didn't match the city's schedule, so this way, anybody should be able to go online and get their garage sale, get the permit, put it on there. There's not any signs that we're having to move around, so the city actually saves a little money and we don't have to buy the sign.
So the fees still apply.
Still pay, it's $5.
$5.
Yeah.
And then, didn't you print out the sign that had the permit number and everything on it?
So,
Well, what we're gonna do now with this, we just give them a permit number and just a regular garage sale sign that you buy at the store where you normally write the address, you just put the permit number, excuse me, and put it out where everyone can see it. And we also list whoever gets a permit, we list every day on the website. So everybody can see who's having a garage sale, and also code enforcement can see who has a permit.
Just so you know, my wife had to use that when we had a garage sale, and it was very friendly,
Good.
user friendly.
Good.
And it's a great system. It really is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good. Anybody have any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve.
There's a motion by Scott Campbell, seconded by Earl Whitenstein to approve ordinance amending the code of ordinance regarding the garage sales to make permanent garage sales more convenient to citizens. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next, discuss, consider, and take possible action on proposed Callahan and Freeman Architects for facilities feasibility. Remember last meeting, we talked about this, I believe, in the work session. We told Peacock to proceed. I believe we talked to several companies. Callahan and Freeman seemed to have the best option. They came back. It was, I think we'd actually budgeted, what, 80 to 100,000. They came back in at 36,000.
100,000, but it's only 3 of the 5 initially first.
Right. We're not doing animal control. and
We are doing,
it.
we're not doing public works or the
Public
park.
Works.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have anything you wanted to add?
we may later, just that these cover the city hall, the building next door, police department, and animal control. We didn't include public works or park because there's some ongoing changes there. We have a decision to make probably in the next 10 or 12 months about the future of public works in that location. So we've kind of held off there initially and just wanted to center on the 3 main areas that are challenging us at the moment.
Do they have any questions?
is the amount here, that's a set amount, you can't exceed it, that's.
It is the set amount for what they have proposed. Now, there may be, if we ask them to extend some information, say if they come back and recommend additions or maybe new build, if we want to talk to them about layout or something like that, there might be some different charges for those depending on how far they go. But that would be after this initial report is provided, which is,
Brought to us for approval.
yes, sir, absolutely. This money is in the budget funded tonight, far and above that, and that money accounts for some of that also. So we should be in good shape.
Is there a time frame in here that?
About 4 months, 3 to 4 months is what they're saying. And then that report, we'll get a look at it, probably throw some questions initially to them, and then we'll put it in a packet and bring them in here to do a presentation to the full council on their findings.
Can we ask for maybe a halfway update,
Sure.
like a halfway mark? Just kind of say, hey, in a couple of months, give us an update.
What I'll do is I'll put it on we'll add it to the action plan
Okay.
so that you can see it each month, and then we'll provide a report each month of their
That'd be
status.
great. Thank you.
You guys have any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve this.
Motion by Mike Kidd, seconded by Angela Nichols to approve the proposal from Callahan and Freeman Architects for facility feasibility study. Any other questions? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next, consider approval of a contract with Johnson County ESD #1, providing fire extinguishment and emergency services. I believe this is the exact same contract we've done in the last couple of years. Was the amount, you said it was the same, or?
The amount's the same, but there's some increase in the incentive line because now we're 100% compliant in responses. So there's about I think it came out to the formula $900 some odd monthly. So we'll see that. And then they've also offered some incentives for equipment repairs, for equipment damages that you can request for, that they cover those costs. Where they believe the most significant change is going to come is with the adoption of that sales tax that passed for them. That money is going to be used almost exclusively for fire service, fire suppression. And they've had a recurring meeting of all the fire chiefs who are actually putting together the plan for the ESD on how those funds are going to be spent. So they've given quite a bit of input to the fire departments themselves on those. Tom and I have been talking about those numbers some, and I don't know that we'll see a whole lot of that this year. They're waiting to get a feel for what kind of revenue that's going to be, but I think we'll see some of that money towards the end of the year become available.
Any questions? Consider a motion.
Motion we accept the terms as stated.
I'll second.
Motion by Merle Rubenstein, seconded by Mike Kidd to approve Johnson County ESD #1 contract providing fire extinguishment and emergency services. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next is discuss, consider, and make possible action on board appointment. I'll put together a real good list on this. On the PMZ, Michael Frazier has resigned. Jerry Moore was the first alternate, so we'll be moving Jerry up into that position. And then that will move Stevie and Torres up into alternate #1, alternate #2. On the zoning board of adjustments, Doug Taylor is in the audience tonight. We'll be going on that board in place of Scott Hendricks. He was term limited. On the type A board, Darren Beck was term limited, and Esley, that's pronounces her name, Esley.
Henderson, he's here.
Okay. Henderson will be asking to be put on that board. The type B board, Courtney Hewitt will be going in place of Pamela Ingram, who's also been term limited. Library Board, Palmer Barley has been on that board. She's asked to be reappointed, not term limited. And on animal control, we have Kit Paul is asked to be reappointed, and she is also not term
Excuse-
limited. Anybody have any questions?
Mayor, if I may make a correction, I did here on the last one, Kit Hall,
Right?
that's a vacant position. And she's
Okay.
applied to
She
serve.
got what?
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions? I'll entertain a motion to make these changes.
I'll make a motion, we accept the changes as stated.
We got a motion by Merle Rottenstein, seconded by Angela Nichols, to accept the changes that we just discussed on the boards. Anybody have any other questions?
I just really like to start seeing the people that we're appointing to these boards
We
show
got
up
one
like
done,
Doug did.
and then also the other gentleman here too.
Yes, sir. Okay. So we got a couple of them that did. and-
Yes.
And I really, I wish there was some way we could make it almost a mandatory thing for them.
We only actually had one new one that did, everybody else has just been reappointed.
Yes.
So we did get 2 of the 3 new ones did show up.
Thank you very much for showing up.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Any other questions?
You too.
All right, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Board, Doug.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah. Staff report. Does anybody have any questions on staff report? Like to see the uptick in the police department's presence out in the city. Really appreciate that. I think that's gonna make a big difference. And not only the crimes that we've had, but also should start cutting down on the rent and everything else. We appreciate it. Pass that along to everybody. That's a big plus.
I've noticed a slowdown on what's that.
I was fixing to say the same. I have heard that the police presence has affected the school zones
Yes.
tremendously. And that there's been some breakdowning going on of people coming into town and not knowing if there's gonna be one sitting there or not. And it's that intermittent chance that's getting people to start slowing down again, and it's good. It's a good change. Thank you. And I got that from school personnel that knows that their kids feel their kids are safe. I commend y'all on that. Thank y'all.
Anybody else?
On the fire department report, again, it's just great seeing these no-miss calls. You know, we're having adequate staff show up. It's just great to see how much our fire department is improving on a month-to-month basis. It really is.
I will pass it along.
How is Chief Greg?
He's better. He's been back this week. He still struggles at the end of the day. It's been kind of a slow recovery, but he's doing better and better each day.
And his family doing well?
Family they've made it through it. I think his wife spent 3 or 4 days in the hospital and then came home. But they're all doing well.
Good.
Good.
We only have one person that's out currently with it, and she'll be back on Monday.
Awesome.
Good.
Merle had it.
I got one question for the chief. You know, is there anything we can do, and I know this is a sad topic matter, but somebody needs to address it. That poor boy in the wheelchair. The other day coming down 174, I mean, about 4:45 in the afternoon, it was bumper to bumper traffic, stacked back cars, you know, and he's wheeling himself down the center aisle of 174. No way to go anywhere. Somebody's gonna whip in there one of these days and run over him, and then they're gonna have to carry it on their car.
You know, on certain violations like that, we can't take enforcement action. We have that authority, but as far as him running up and down the shoulder of the roadway, he is considered a pedestrian.
Right.
And as long as he's abiding by those rules, those laws, there is no enforcement action to take.
Yeah.
On that. Mr. Rogers, he does not, we all check on him on, most of the officers do. He does not want any of our help. He's not want any of our services. He's very adamant about that. So we move that. We can't force it on them. We've offered numerous times that they've been to shelter for shelter food, right? He does have family. Reached out to his family. His aunt is willing to take him in at any time. So,
Yes.
It's not only 174, but he also goes down to center lane 917. He
and I've seen him
waves
on
at
the-
you, his hands kind of manipulated. He waves at you with one finger.
Yeah, if he's in a lane, the lane itself, we can take enforcement action on that. But barring him being on the shoulder or as close to the edge of the roadway as
This
possible.
was right in the middle of, it's actually a turn lane both ways, but he was going down, and there's no way he was gonna get out of that for a long time to come, you know, unless he went to a red light, you know. But I thought, man, somebody gonna run over, it, you know, the safety factor there is what I thought. I know the story behind the kid, you know.
Maybe we should just get a flag put on the deal like the
Yeah.
wheelchair guy does, like the electronic wheelchair guy.
Right.
Got that flag.
Well, he goes up 917.
No, I know, I've seen.
There we go.
Anyway, I appreciate your input on it. I didn't know if there was anything we could do.
No, like I said, it's been offered numerous times. Just.
I
That's
appreciate
where the
it.
state of mind is.
I just hate to see somebody have to live with that burden that they wheeled in there, you know? But anyway, it is what it is. I guess. Thank you.
On the city secretary's report.
Right.
The email that you sent out concerning the information with the attorney general and so on and so forth.
Yes, sir.
Is that included in these freedom information requests?
Yes, the copy that I put with the email, I actually sent to the Attorney General's office. And that was the one that they agreed on that what I redacted should have been redacted. So that's all that was released.
And I noticed on the copies that we got in our packet, everything was redacted and so
Yes.
on, all that being taken care of.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for staying on top of that.
Oh, you're
That-
welcome.
That is a nightmare to even think about.
Yes.
All the information that comes across your desk, and, you know, little things like that should be a big hassle. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
I'll wait till later, future agenda items.
All right. All right, at this point in time, then, we're going to go into executive session at 7:07 to pursue to provisions of chapter 551, subchapter D of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following. Paragraph 551.072 of the Texas Government Code to discuss or deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of retail property.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will reconvene out of executive session at 7:17. Angela, you got something?
Well, I move to authorize the city manager and clerk to execute a real estate purchase contract and to take all other actions incident and related hereto for property located at Cedar Crest Highway 174 and Vermont.
Second? Okay, so motion by Angela Nichols, second by Scott Kimball, to allow the city manager to sign a contract for purchase of property. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Does anybody have anything on future agenda items? Mike?
I was gonna ask about the chief, fire chief also, but if he's feeling up to it, I'd like to have him come in and give us a briefing on how the volunteers actually volunteering is going. I got some info a while back that volunteers were not putting in enough time or doing their chores and things like that. And I'm just kind of wanting to get an update. And then also how the personnel the full timers are actually doing. I know we're meeting on their calls and everything, but just want to make sure that the full timers are getting enough help from the volunteers. In the process, we'll get more
Okay.
volunteers and stuff. So just kind of like to get an update from you.
I'll have him here.
mainly about, are we doing good with our volunteers? And are we, having good production from it?
I will make a note that I signed a lot of checks yesterday for volunteers. And we were about 2 hours.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, it'll
we've got
pick up a little bit now
full-timers
because
and They need to have plenty of help.
it always slows down a little bit during the summer because vacations and going out of town with the families and all that, but I'll have him get some.
And that was
Stuff
one of the
together.
things that we added to the budget, where as each of our permanent guys is wanting to take a vacation, we put in the budget where we could have a full-time person come in and cover that position while they're on vacation. And that was in the budget.
Yeah.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, we're gonna be adjourned at 6:19.
Thank you, everybody.